Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Circe podcast, or name redacted. Circe podcast is a temporary name. We're working on it. We'll see how it goes in the future. But anyways, I am going to be your host for today. My name is Peach, if you don't know me, and I am here with my co-host for first and many more of these of the podcasts, Khalyx.
Yes, hello. Good afternoon, everyone.
And we are also joined by a special guest, another Irishman, Nut. Hello.
Good afternoon.
So, yeah, we are going to just be talking a bit about all things pretty much Overwatch related for today. Things with the past, the present, and even the future of Overwatch, depending on where the conversation goes. This isn't going to be too structured. It's just going to be kind of quite free-flowing, just a lot of, back and forth stuff. But mainly, I want to kind of talk about Overwatch as a whole, as an experience, not just, sitting here complaining about the meta for an hour. So, firstly, I guess we'll start with experience and background in Overwatch. So personally, I've been playing Overwatch for around 3 to 4 years. I started as a filthy platinum player, like everybody else in this chat, and if you didn't, you're a liar. And I slowly but surely slogged my way up across 2 platforms to like a 3.8, 3.9 area. But I am easily the least acclaimed in this Discord call, so if anybody else wants to blow me out of the water by your achievements, please feel free.
I'm not going to blow you out of the water, but I'm going to mention how I came to Overwatch. I played TF2. I played TF2 from 2012 to, 2016, open beta. And then joined the Overwatch gang and kept playing. In 2018, I joined my first team, and now I'm here. So that's how I came to be.
Yeah, TF2 is already a home field advantage. I came from games like Minecraft and Call of Duty.
Very much, yes.
So like it was a bit of a learning curve. And not, as far as I'm aware, you're the same, right? You didn't come from like a TF2 background or anything?
No. I started with Minecraft, played a lot of console as well, played Call of Duty. Then I think my friends started introducing me to Overwatch, and that was about in 2017, and we played on console for a while. And then they slowly started kind of moving on, and then I kind of got into PC Overwatch, and I've just been playing it ever since. So
yeah, that kind of whole thing, because I went through that as well, and I don't know if Khalyx did or not, but it's the whole thing of like you have that group of people that you initially played with on Overwatch, and it's like, you're enjoying yourself, it's kind of a routine thing, and then they move on, but you don't want to move on, so you're just kind of like stuck in this limbo of, well, what do I do now? I'm just like solo queuing comp every day.
Nah, I just full soloed the Overwatch journey.
Oh, you were just filthy solo warlord from day one.
I have no IRL friends that are as hardcore gamers as I am. I am just the lonely guy that plays PC games, and sometimes my friends join me, but if then, it's not Overwatch. So yeah.
I anytime with my friends I ask them to go on Overwatch, I get shunned. Like I've just asked for like, I don't know, like 300 euros or something. Like I get flambasted for even attempting to suggest Overwatch nowadays.
Yeah, sad how that went that way. It was very much hyped in the beginning, wasn't it? Like,
yeah,
everybody played it.
And this is the thing as well, because that hype is going to kind of transition into Overwatch 2, hopefully. Because the thing is, like, this is the thing that I think about a lot with Overwatch 2, right? Is thinking back to Overwatch 1. The initial release was so interesting because it felt like a game concept that had been done poorly a few times. And let me clarify, I don't mean poorly by saying TF2 was poor. I mean poorly by saying that TF2 was not supported in nearly the level that Overwatch was going to be supported.
And it wasn't released by a company like Blizzard. Like Valve had released one esports title already with CS:GO, and they didn't show, like, the support came from the community and not from the company. And when Blizzard announced, the release of a first-person shooter, everybody was every head was turning. It was a big deal.
Because Blizzard were only known for like what, World of Warcraft and StarCraft were the only two big games. Like they had Hearthstone, which wasn't massive at the time. And what else did what were Blizzard rocking in like the 2015 era?
I don't know.
It was like
Diablo was
Diablo. Thing, that was the one. I was like, there's definitely another game.
Yeah, but it was, that's not esport, but whatever.
Yeah, like, but even still, you go from games like Diablo, which is like a top-down like dungeon crawler, and like World of Warcraft, which is like a hardcore MMO, to Widowmaker and Tracer.
Yeah,
it's a very different tone shift, and it was a different direction for them. And the thing is as well with Overwatch 2 now is that hype it's being attempted to be replicated. And honestly, I'm kind of on board, because the main problem I have with Overwatch right now is like I want a casual experience. And I don't know about you two, but like I'm kind of sick of the only enjoyable thing in Overwatch being like competitive based.
I think what is really interesting, what they announced was like the co-op, the enlarged co-op missions, like the huge scale around, with leveling abilities and like within the trailer, what they showed for Genji and Tracer, how you could level up their abilities. I think that would attract a lot of casuals, and I mean that sounds that sounds pretty fun to me, and so why not? But what I think won't happen with with Overwatch 2 is in the sense of how much of a new thing Overwatch was at its launch. Like Overwatch 2 is just going to be the second one of that.
Their concept is that essentially they're going to do something different and hope that it creates the same hype. And as much as I don't think it will reach, I don't think it's possible for a game sequel to reach the peaks of its previous successor. Because there's been like countless games that just haven't been able to even come close to like the bar that was set by the original. But I don't know. I generally have a positive outlook for Overwatch 2, because although the multiplayer experience will still be it will still be Brig, it will still be Sigma, it will still be Doomfist, a lot of the characters that people complain about.
Well, that could change depending on how many heroes.
Hopefully.
That's kind of my hope, right? Is that if they bring out a fresh game and they rebalance, kind of everything, especially including new heroes and so that kind of evens out what is so wonky right now in Overwatch 1, because they've been introducing new heroes along the way. Because if we look back at, quote unquote release Overwatch, or like shortly after, Ana was released or something, there wasn't kind of this tilted, and I don't mean tilted in an emotional sense, but in kind of a figurative sense, type of game where some heroes would be really, really good and absolutely viable, and the only thing that would be run, and some heroes would just be an afterthought. Like people were messing around and thinking about what can we do, and it was more of this rock paper scissors mentality that was that was the idea of the game in the first place, I feel like.
Yeah, and it definitely led towards a lot more of a kind of MOBA experience where picks really felt like they mattered, not necessarily because if you're not playing the strongest thing, you're going to lose. It's a case of they're playing something, how do we stop it? But I think the game's tone has, at least from my perspective, I don't know about you two, at least from my perspective, it's now shifted to, if you don't play what's strong, it's pretty much GG, unless you're, again, like supremely talented at something specific.
Not if you've been screaming recently. Can you say something about that?
I think like the way you need to look at it is like look at a team's strength. So like you don't have to be extremely talented at something. If you find something that works for your team, you can rock with that. But I think like there's a huge emphasis placed on following meta, and that you get some of these like off meta teams that are like basically one tricks, because sometimes you need to be literal one tricks to be the best at your hero to actually get value out of it. And some teams have found success with that. Like the first example was Clockwork Vendetta. Like they kind of tore up Gold, and like this is what this is what can be run, and this is how we can beat it. And there's lots of teams that actually like spent hours preparing for Clockwork Vendetta. Some teams put in the hours. Other teams are like, no, we can't focus on this. Schedule's too condensed. But I think a lot of it is to do with scheduling and like your structure of a team, right? So if you have good coaching staff, they can come up with unique ideas.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that a lot of the time, you know, when I'm, because you know I coach 2 teams, and when I watch VODs back or watch scrims, and I see either the enemy or not the enemy, the opponent, and us, you know, running a certain hero or not running a certain hero that you know that would have been as a from a meta point of view a lot more viable. I always see myself kind of putting points towards, you know, points of mistake towards not having that hero. And the question, I mean, you know, you can never really know, but I feel like that is because of, you know, what the game has become. But I'm sure that at some point, like you say, you know, it comes down to execution, and if you can execute something really, really well, it still works. But what I miss is kind of this counter picking that used to happen. It's like, oh, they are playing Bastion, so we like, this is the oldest rock paper scissors setup. Like, they're playing Bastion, we play Genji, they're playing Genji, we play Monkey, like that way around. And I feel like you can not go into a scrim and be like, yo, they're playing an Echo, we're just going to pick a double hit scan to counter that. Like, doesn't work like that.
Yeah, like it used to work with Pharah.
Yeah.
And I think that's largely to do with, as Nut was mentioning, he was talking about how you can build a comp that's off meta, and if you play it really well, it can work. You know, a good example being Clockwork Vendetta. But the thing is, I feel like there's a lot less of a solo impact. And again, in scrims, that makes sense. Where, you know, like, you shouldn't expect an Ashe swapping to Widow to suddenly turn the game on its head. But I feel like from a more player individuality perspective, the game has definitely become a lot less malleable and a lot more like streamlined, where you need to work with your team a lot more than you need to work against the enemy team. And that's for better or for worse. Like in a scrim perspective, that works brilliantly. Like, one of the most teamwork heavy games on the games market right now is Counter-Strike, where it shifted from, you know, Simple could dander into a room and shoot 4 people in the head with 5 left clicks and have it be nothing, to now Simple walks in a room, he gets triple flashed and shot in the back.
Yeah.
Like, it's all about teamwork, and Overwatch is slowly leading in that direction, which is partially good because it helps the competitive scene, but also partially bad because when you have some idiot in your comp game calling you trash for playing a hero that he doesn't deem to be good enough, teamwork goes right out the window.
Yeah,
which is why it kind of feels good and bad at the same time.
Yeah, it just ruins like the individual experience that is supposed to be competitive, but that you will get, you know, that you will only get when you actually play in a 6v6 environment.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, I feel like this game could succeed in a much better light if I'm just gonna say it, if the community wasn't so toxic. We are on par. We are on par with like MOBA communities now. Like, League and Dota are on the same level as the Overwatch community when it comes to toxicity. Like, there's so much toxicity in this game.
But I feel like that is also only, you know, I don't like saying casual community, but kind of the player-based community, unless, you know, the actual esports, you know, 6v6 competitive scene. Because, I mean, sure, there are idiots in every area of the community, but I feel like towards esports, anything that is, you know, to do with contenders or Overwatch League, you know, the fans, quote unquote, or, you know, management, or, you know, just scrims in general, anything from, you know, that goes into a semi-high rank is not, you know, filled with just toxic people. It's just filled with people that want to compete, but the toxicity just shows like in rank because everybody is so convinced that, you know, they know what's best after playing the game for 4 years.
I mean, if you just look at forums, you have to see what the development team have to deal with. You have all these one tricks. Buff my hero, buff Mercy, bring back old res, bring back old ultimate. I want this, I want that, and then like why don't we bring back 50% Discord and like speed boost and nano boost?
It's ridiculous. The Blizzard forums are an absolute goldmine. It's so good.
To be fair though, right? That is so hard to deal with as developers, right? Because if you think of it, right? If you're a person like writing posts on that forum, I did that once. I'm guilty of that as well because I was so disgusted at some of the changes that the devs put through or proposed, and I just had to let it out somewhere. So I thought the forums would actually, I'd be heard. But anyway, I've forgotten what I wanted to say now. Jesus. Was that, if you have you think of yourself, of your own opinions so highly that that's the only thing that matters. But if you look at Blizzard HQ devs, whatever, they get hundreds of these, thousands of these posts and letters and whatnot a day, and to kind of find middle ground, I guess that's not really possible, I suppose, but kind of to mediate and to please as many people as possible must be so difficult and must take so much emotional strength as well from the people that are actually reading that stuff. So yeah, that's one thing I never think about.
Yeah, and it's a challenge for like anyone that's ever made pretty much any product or service, like in business, flat out, because you'll never make everyone happy. It's physically impossible to make everyone happy. It's even it's majority hard to make like a good portion of people happy. Like a lot of the time people are going to find ways to make themselves upset, or they're just going to like dislike your product or dislike your service, and they have every right to do that. But I feel like a lot of the problem is a lot of games nowadays, at least a lot of kind of newer games like Overwatch, Siege, that don't have these credible 10+ year histories, really are struggling to find a path of what they want. Because obviously you can't just neglect a fan base, right? Like there's 3 types of fan bases in Overwatch. There's the tryhards, there's the pros, and then there's the casuals. Tryhards are people that want to sit and play ranked 9 hours a day, 10 hours a day. People like ML7, like
That's
J3, the streamers. There's the casuals, people that play quick play and like they still like Junkenstein's Revenge and stuff like that. And then there are the pros, the people at the higher level in Overwatch League. You're going to need to do different things to please each of these people. Having really good balance changes isn't going to help the casual player base, and it's only going to kind of help the tryhard player base, because the tryhards want something more to go for than just top 500 at this point. It's been 5 years and there's still no incentive to get top 500. Whoop-de-doo, I get an emblem. Like, you have to constantly be evaluating your position with each of these communities, and they haven't actually figured out which one they want to target. Because 1 month it's like, oh, okay, we're going to make all these really good balance changes that'll really help the pro scene and really improve the gameplay quality of Overwatch League. That's great. Next week they're like, hey, skins, woo! And that only helps the casual community. And then next week they're like, all right, we're going to introduce priority tickets and stuff. And what was the other thing they introduced with priority tickets? The flex queue, which is like, it's like how you earn the priority tickets, and it makes kind of queues a bit more interesting. So like they're always firing off in just different directions, and they never seem to actually go, all right, this is the one we want to focus in on.
But I feel like that's what's been happening, from not from day one, but that has been a theme for a long time now. And I think that, with what's coming with Overwatch 2, that is going to be maybe not less of an issue, but at least there are, ways to address, for example, the casuals, with the co-op, blah, 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 and then kind of, that might make, ranked a little more reserved for the actual tryhards, which would be cool. Which makes the ranked, like, cleans up the ranked scene or the tryhard scene a little bit, maybe. And, you can direct balance changes in different directions, where you have the co-op and, the casual side. Okay, you can balance that however you like. And then you have the tryhard scene and the pro scene, which, tryhards are, semi going in the same direction as the pro scene in regards to, gameplay. So you can kind of care about those people a little bit more. So I feel like Overwatch 2 would definitely do a good job at that from what we've seen so far.
Yeah,
you know what they should do?
Oh,
they should get rid of golden weapons.
Get rid of them?
Get rid of them, or give them another way to earn them, not through comp, because you have all these casual players from quick play coming into ranked just to solely get golden weapons, and it is just useless.
You poor.
I don't want someone who plat border who has played quick play for 90% of their play time just to come into ranks like, I'm just here for my golden weapon. Goodbye. And he's like, no, please. Stop.
Have you actually had that happen? Like
Yes.
in 4K?
I know people that do that.
Good lord.
Like I have friends that like what they'll do is at the kind of start and end of a comp season, like when like there's high amounts of players, they will go into competitive and then play like a couple of games to try and get golden weapons, and then in the middle of the season for like the bit where people would really be grinding, like they just go play quick play.
Oof.
I know people that play like 3 heroes that have like 20 golden weapons just because they want them.
Wow. Okay.
It is the most infuriating thing ever. Just please.
I mean,
Poor nut. Poor nut.
The thing is as well, they wouldn't even have to get rid of golden weapons or like make them achievable in a different way. I think another way they could change it is alter how competitive points work and like either give us more stuff to spend them on, so there's an incentive for you to just grind rank the entire season instead of having quick play warriors just dander into rank games in the last week. It would give them a reason to permanently move to ranked if they had significant, things to attain other than an emblem that moves and a weapon that shines. Or just have alternate ways of earning them. Maybe they... actually, I say alternate ways of earning them. They've kind of done a good job of that with things like open queue, competitive 3v3, competitive like capture the flag, stuff like that. I think now it's just come down to a point where the points don't matter. So I think they need to actually give us more stuff to spend them on.
I mean,
Or they
I
could
guess...
just link it to rank.
What do you mean?
As in, you literally just link competitive points to the level of your account.
I mean, that is the case.
Oh, you mean... Oh, no. He means link it to account level. So, like, if you're a plat border, you get more or less... Which one do you mean?
You just every time you get an extra star on your account, you just get competitive points.
I would... Yeah, okay.
I mean, again,
at
no.
which point they wouldn't be competitive points anymore, but there you go.
Yeah, I mean, again, though, it wouldn't really make a huge difference if still all you're buying is a shiny weapon. Like, who's going to sit and farm levels and farm comp to get points to, like, make, Moira's fingernails gold? Like, realistically, at what point, like, are you just...
Arcs.
Mm-hmm. Like, XQ...
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, like, XQC had... What was it? I think he had every golden weapon by, like, season 13 or 12. So like, people have had every golden weapon for years and years and years. So, I don't know. I feel like that system needs to be revamped as a whole rather than just removed.
I mean, I almost have every golden weapon. Almost.
See, if Khalyx can do it, then it's a problem.
And I have not even peaked GM, so there's that. And there are people that have peaked GM since, I don't know, season 2, and they have every golden weapon for sure. But I think one thing that I remember that I this shot into my mind when you said Moira's fingernails was when Moira was introduced, that people were raging about how small the golden gun was, because it was literally just her hand, and the hand wasn't even golden. It was just her fingernails and like I think it was just the fingernails or something, and wasn't some of the back of the hand or something.
Wasn't there another one that was really bad when it came out?
Yeah,
was it like
was.
Sigma's?
I think it was Sigma. Yeah. Something like that.
Nah, I think they made changes to Diva with their golden weapon. I'm fairly certain.
Really?
Yeah, no, I think they like made more of her mech golden.
Okay, but there were at least there were at least 2 heroes where when they were introduced, and you saw the golden guns, that people were screaming down the forums of, how can you do this? This golden gun looks pathetic. Blah 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 blah. I remember that. That was a lot of fun.
I'm fact checking this.
Go ahead and fact check.
So Tracer's Pulse Bomb so these are all the changes since release to golden weapons. So Tracer's Pulse can now be gold. Soldier's Healing Station. Sombra's Metal Fingers for her hack. Bastion's Bastion's self-repair arm.
Right.
And that was the big one. Bastion's tank mode didn't have gold. That was the one that they changed that I remember. Sorry, I didn't even know this was a thing. Junkrat's actual shots are gold. His ammunition shots.
This just shows how little Junkrat I play.
Snowball is gold.
Really? Is he? I didn't think. Okay.
Someone suggested that Torb turrets should be gold, but I don't know.
Wow.
Orisa's bongo and then sim turrets. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, I was wrong. Unlucky.
But I definitely remember with the Moira. That was big fun.
This might be outdated. I mean, yeah, it's a thing as well. People care so much about gold guns. Like, it feels like Call of Duty, where it's just like, oh, I want the diamond combo, even though it doesn't exist.
Oh no.
They should do that. That would give people an incentive to just grind comp relentlessly if you could get like diamond weapons. Like after unlocking like all the golds for like DPS, you get like another camo.
You wouldn't think that they would actually do that now.
I don't know. I mean,
Overwatch one.
It would be better than like May snowball fight for the 5th year in a row. Like it would be something.
It's not an event, and I mean they are hard at work on Overwatch 2, which will come out next year or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
This year,
I don't know.
That's seeming a little bit more doubtful because they pushed back the Overwatch League because of visa issues, and people were speculating that was because of Overwatch 2. But that's out the window because it's visa issues. Probably next year.
Would the visa issues not be related to the fact that 3 of the teams moved to the Asian region?
I was about to say, yeah. I saw when it was, I don't know, when they introduced this new tournament or something. I'm not really following Overwatch League anymore.
I was about to say
the Philadelphia Fusion was now APAC.
Mm-hmm.
And
it was Philly, Valiant, and NYXL.
Right, yeah. But NYXL was APAC before when the divisions came out, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But now they're like moving because I think they were in the APAC region, but they were still located in LA. So I think now they're moving them to the APAC region, like physically.
Okay.
And while we're on this, do we want to talk about the implosion of Valiant or
what happened there? I don't know. Tell me.
It's all rumors, right? Valiant put out a tweet yesterday saying they would like to thank the staff departing for their like, you know, their efforts over the past seasons or whatever. They haven't specified what staff, and it's been pretty heavily rumored that they've literally just dropped their entire roster because they didn't want to move to, or like it was something along the lines of like they didn't want to go to the region.
No, what happened was they tweeted yesterday saying that we want to thank all the players and staff moving on today from the LA Valiant due to COVID-related visa issues, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Halo, a couple of weeks back, had said that apparently they've been bought out by some unknown Chinese company who wanted to make their team Chinese rather than the current Valiant.
Mm-hmm.
So you had all this controversy. They came out and addressed it, saying, "We'd like to confirm this rumor is false. IGC will continue to own the LA Valiant, and we're excited about the opportunity to grow the brand's global reach this year." But what they didn't say is that management was changing. Management, I'm fairly certain, has changed, and all the players have gone. Packing 10 released a post, like tweet longer, saying that he's moving over to coach the Immortals Valorant roster, and all of the Valiant players are now looking for team coaches, everything. Agility said he's probably not going to be an owl this year, so he's just going to focus on streaming. And it's just a really bad situation. Like, if this had happened at the tail end of season 3 and they'd released the roster before players were moving, it would have been fine. The problem is that they only released the roster yesterday officially.
Oof.
And every team has practically finished their roster. Like, all those players are probably going to go into contenders or they're retiring. Like, there's going to be very few. Like, I think KSP found a team, but not that whole team won't find a team now. They're going to have to wait until the next season of Overwatch League, probably, or grind their way up from contenders again.
But it really is a shame, though. I feel like that's not the first time that has happened in like recent months. I mean, it wasn't something. I mean, you know, some similar thing that happened to the Titans, to Vancouver Titans, Didn't they just all drop their entire, or did the entire roster leave or something? I remember hearing something about
There
that.
was serious problems between players and management,
Right.
and like you could see it was having an effect on them towards the like end of season 2.
Mm-hmm.
And like coming into playoffs, Bumper kind of got benched for what was his name? I can't remember. Whatever. They got replacement mate like in, and he played for playoffs, which is fair enough because Goats was gone by that stage because of 2-2-2. And they needed a more flexible main tank maybe because Bumper was like rank specialist. But then like the biggest problem was that the players in Vancouver didn't want to stay in America because of COVID and stuff, and they wanted to relocate back to Asia. But the Titans didn't want that, and they located them in one of their whichever parent company of Titans. They located them in one of their sports facilities, but like it was not fit for purpose at all for the players, and the players were getting really angry. And by this stage, Bumper had been dropped from the Titans, and like the roster was starting to change a lot, and like they kind of lost their identity, and they kind of just exploded. And I know Janu has come out recently and said that he isn't going to pursue competitive Overwatch for like now because he doesn't want to play anything else other than the old Vancouver roster.
By the way, just to mention, Bumper got replaced by Fisher.
Yeah,
Fisher was the one that was forcing.
That was season 3 though. There was
yeah.
In season 2, there's a different main tank.
Was there?
Yeah.
Tizzy,
that was it.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that. Yeah. But honestly, can we just reminisce a little bit about Overwatch League Season 1 and how fun that was? At least in my opinion. I don't know how you guys feel about that. I just loved, watching those Overwatch League games and just, having the crowd there cheering and, kind of the new franchises with the teams that have been, like Envy and whatnot, Misfits, this and that. Everybody kind of transitioning into this proper franchise, and then having the big league and whatnot. I always thought that was great fun, and that season 1 was really like the best season of Overwatch League. I feel like.
Personally, I'd say the best Overwatch, like competitive scene wise, the best Overwatch you've ever seen was between season 1 stage 3 and season 2 stage 2.
Yeah,
and then the season 2 finals. I prefer season 2 over season 1 because I feel like season 1, the Overwatch League was still kind of actually trying to figure out what they wanted to do and like how they wanted to run their business, to the point where there was a lot of like things that kind of hindered it. Like for example, a lot of different players were getting banned. Like a lot of different rosters were just not living up to expectations because they weren't ready for the actual environment.
Dallas Fuel,
NYXL. There was
really?
Sure. Did you not remember the stuff about how like Pine and stuff had to quit because they couldn't handle the pressure?
I thought he quit because of goats.
Or no, who was it? There was an NYXL player that like stopped playing in the game because he was like, "This is too much pressure."
I don't know.
Who were the DPSs on the NYXL in season 1?
There was Flower, Libero, Sabiobi.
Flower wasn't. I don't think Flower was on their original roster, was he?
No, he was taken on shortly after.
Yeah,
because he was too young.
But it was Libero, SBB, and Pine. Those 3, I think, were the OGs.
Maybe it was SBB then. Maybe because he got benched and he was like, I can't perform.
He had to leave because he wasn't getting playtime.
Yeah, I think he wasn't getting playtime because he like couldn't perform correctly or something. I don't it was something like that. Effect was the big one though.
But just in general, right? Pre-Goats Overwatch League, I thought was so much fun. I really enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun to watch with the casters and whatnot.
That's why I'm saying like season or stage 3 because it was like pre-Goats and then the introduction of Goats. Early Goats was fun. I'm gonna come out and say it.
Yeah,
early Goats was like AIDS, but it was fun because it was good Overwatch. It was when it was 8 months into Goats. That's when it was like, all right, this is a problem.
Yeah, no, like the early stages of Ghost, that was a lot of fun to watch. Not gonna lie.
I actually preferred the tail end of Goats.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess
start of Goats, it was like really, really messy, and like teams were just not playing it right. And then towards the like you had Shock and Titans. Those are like the best Goats games because both teams can play it so well.
Do you mean to watch or to play?
To watch. Oh, to be honest, to play as well because I like so much more counter strategy towards the end. Whereas like Starter goals, it was like you just run into each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
No,
I personally enjoy the like kind of the strategic element of it, or like
Mhm.
you sort of seeing like that meta stagnated, but like within that meta, loads of different counter strats started developing. You had like people started like bomb pinning, and then people started like using bomb to stop people pushing into their grab. And you had like there's so many little things, but the thing that I hated most was Somber Guts.
Oh yeah.
I have PTSD of like me hiding in like the darkest little dank corner I can possibly find on the map, waiting to beat an EMP. Just waiting to beat the EMP. I'm just like sitting. It's like a horror movie. Like I'm sitting in the closet hoping the serial killer doesn't find me. Because if she does, it's game over.
Oh my god, yes. No, but I do agree that, you know, late stage goats was cool because it was so right, because mechanics just basically flew out the window, right? And it was the same shit just over and over again, and it just got so down to the last detail, and teams got so good at it that I can understand why that was cool. Yeah, true. I have to admit that as well. But still, like the hard yeet at the beginning was still a lot of fun as well.
It was still fun.
And I want to make an off-topic point as well, right? I personally believe that a lot of good balance changes were made during goats, right? To try and mitigate against goats. Like some things that needed tuned there was obviously a lot of bad ones as well. I'm not saying every patch was, you know, godsend. One of the pieces of tech that they removed from the game still to this day bothers me. I want it back. I want the Brigida launch tech back. That was balanced. Because if you have to use every cooldown to do it, why is it a problem?
What do you mean launch tech?
There was a thing you could do where if you shield bashed and then whip shot at the same time, it would cancel your bash, but you would hold momentum, so you would go flying. Like you could cross like 50 meters in a second.
I don't even remember that.
The big one.
I need to look this up on YouTube.
Yeah. So unfortunately, we don't have the kind of setup for it right now. I wish I could.
No, after the podcast.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying like on stream. I wish we could show you the video, but we unfortunately don't have the setup. But honestly, one of the best places to do it was, you know, on Hanamura's second point, right? If you're attacking, everyone would go top right through the general choke, and your brig would go left window, and she would shield launch up the rock and through the window.
Wow. Okay.
Most teams, when they saw you coming through the choke, would rotate off the main balcony, rotate off like the kind of side balcony onto like the main balcony with the two pillars that showed the entire point. They'd rotate down and they'd meet you in like the kind of small corridor. That's what they would do. But if your brig jumped up behind them, you could collapse the first person to drop with the Reinhardt in the brig, because she would have bash back by the time they rotated. It was so fun. Because the thing is, it's a risk. It's the same with ledge dash. Like, if you want to burn an entire cooldown for mobility, ledge dash was a bit OP. You could literally hit the skybox.
Yeah, that was a bit.
But like, if you have to burn a lot of cooldowns and like a lot of resources to obtain something like that, I don't see the problem with it. Like, Mercy Jump is still in the game and it's a 2-second cooldown. Brig Jump is less impactful, requires more cooldowns that have longer time to recharge, and it would help her with mobility that she very clearly lacks in a meta that is Echo Pharah centric, pretty much. I don't know why they removed it. It was so good.
They removed it because it was completely unintended.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but there are a lot of things that are unintended that they leave in the game.
Well, like Super Jump is the one example where they kept it, right? But that kind of like suited her kit. Like, it was just an extra dimension. It's like people were crying out for it to be patched, but
they left Ghost Dashing in the game.
Yeah, but
that's intended.
Is Ghost Dashing intended? The animation of a dash bugging out.
Yeah. No, I mean, because the tech still works, right? You're supposed to get the dash reset immediately when you get the kill, so you should be able to immediately dash again. What they didn't fix was the animation, right? They should, fix the animation.
Yeah, because
not the tech. Because the tech.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Ghost Dashing means you can fire faster after the second dash.
No.
Because you don't have to wait for the animation to end.
No.
No.
Almost.
Oh
certainly
no, yeah, because you can fire out of an animation anyway. Yeah, I'm an idiot.
Like when you dash right click melee, right? You don't have the the shoot animation anyway.
It just canceling a different animation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess, but still, I like. I don't know. I would quite like Overwatch to be a more kind of fluid game where there's like tech that you can use, not necessarily in like an exploitative way, but definitely in a more creative way. Like I hate that it's just so set in stone.
I think that, Doomfist rollouts or some shit are much more of a problem in that regard than, Brig Bash.
Yeah, like Doomfist like ledge punching and like where he can as well where he can uppercut off like a doorway and launch himself forward.
Yeah.
Like that's still in the game. I don't get why like all the supports have their like mobility nerfed other than, the E-Girl hero.
But I've got to say, right, I remember when it was goats all the way in scrims and blah, blah, and everyone was sick of it. But during that time, ranked was amazing. At least I feel like that. Because nobody wanted to play goats. Nobody played that. But therefore, everybody played anything.
Yeah.
And as long as you were good at what you did, you were successful. And I feel like that's a rank that we miss nowadays, to be honest.
Please, bro. And everything. Yeah, please, bro. Just go goats, bro. This is my GM game. Might be my favorite Overwatch game. Yeah. It's so good. Like, please, bro. This is my GM game. Please, just go goats, bro. Just one round, bro. Please.
Exactly.
It's such a good meme. I love it so much.
Yeah, it's really, and I feel like just ranked was so pure in that regard because it was a meta that nobody wanted to play, so everybody just played whatever they wanted, and as long as you were good, it worked. Like, sure, Bastion maybe wasn't the shit to go, but you could play pretty much any semi-viable character to a good degree and have success with it.
Yeah,
so I kind of miss that a bit.
It was only really characters that got countered by the goats-esque heroes that were really struggling. Heroes like Genji and like Tracer that got heavily countered by characters like Brig and Diva, who were really strong at the time. They were the only heroes that were really struggling.
Yeah, true.
Like snipers were fine, stuff like that.
Yeah, all that work. But now, I just don't like the current meta at all, to be honest, because it's so, apart from it, the whole meta, this and that, the fact that there is a meta, but apart from that, the kind of the ball and then some off tank, that just shields were, quote unquote OP. Everybody was complaining about double shield, blah blah. Then they killed shields, and now what we have instead is CC. Like, what's better?
Didn't they have it like perfect for a while, where it was like Ryan Zarya for like 4 months, and then just something went wrong, and it was like Sig Hog or something.
Well, they destroyed shields, and then everybody was crying about Zarya Hog being good, and snipers just rolling every game.
Yeah, there was a point though, like and again, I might be dreaming. Wasn't there a point in like September or October where it was like Ryan Zarya, and it was like glorious? Or am I just like dreaming?
I think you're dreaming.
I think you're dreaming. Yeah.
I swear I remember a point of like Ryan Zarya being the best kind of tank lineup. It was after the Roadhog Zarya meta where they made Sig too strong, and then it was like Sig Roadhog, and then they nerfed Sig again, and then it was like Ryan Zarya, and then it was like Ballhog. I don't know. I'm probably dreaming.
I don't know. This meta is just fun. I love this meta, to be honest. This meta is actually this meta is so fun.
Two sides of a coin.
I don't know. I feel like I just can't play. You play Tracer, you play Echo, you play Hanzo. You can't play Widow. You can't play because Ball just lul. And you can't play, Sombra, I guess. Okay, sure, but like it's just so much, just here's a strong hero, here's a strong hero, here's a strong hero, here's a strong hero. Throw them all together, and you have a comp. I feel like that's what's going on right now. And meh.
This is the things with meta as well. Like I'm gonna take an educated guess and say that Khalyx, you do not enjoy this meta because your main heroes, people like Widow, like most of the Heskals are nullified by some hamster in an electric ball that throws himself at you with 1,000 HP.
Absolutely.
You're enjoying this meta because this is the first time Zen's been useful since 2017.
well, yeah, Zen, but like backline is so strong. This meta is actually crazy. Like,
Yeah.
even now, when like say with the 2 second shield nerf, yeah, you can run heroes like Zarya now, Diva to an extent, but Diva kind of gets melted by Zarya if you play it right. But like Anna, like especially double bubble. Double bubble is so fun right now.
That's
like,
true.
Winston, like you get to play all the really kind of like fun and skilled heroes like Tracer, Echo, Winston, Diva. Oh, okay, the only thing that isn't fun and maybe skilled for some people is Brig, but yeah, most of it is skilled.
I mean, flex supports are happy because you can play Ana again, I guess.
Like, I don't know. What a time to be a flex support. You can literally
what an awful time to be in support as well, because it's literally just Mercy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been Brig and Mercy for the last 8 months.
Yeah.
True. Or probably more than a year, to be honest.
To be honest, though, right, I feel like tank-wise, the balances are actually quite fair, apart from, Ball being ridiculously good. But apart from that, I feel like every tank is semi-played at least, right? Because you have Rhine and Brawl on close range maps. You have Sig at least on sniper maps, maybe even a Narissa if you're feeling adventurous, but not really. And then you have, the Diva for high grounds. You have Desirable as like a standard thing. You have the Hog if you need picks or something. Because like tank wise, I think it's okay, apart from Ball just being ridiculously strong. And so but the thing with Ball just being strong is that it just nullifies a bunch of DPS heroes, and especially DPS heroes I like to play. That's why I don't like this meta.
Right, the worst tank is Diva right now. Yeah,
I was about to say, I feel like the viability for the tank lines is like everything apart from Ball and Diva is on about 15%. Ball is in more like the 25-30% range, and then Diva is like a bit in the 10 or 5% range. Like Diva's a bit behind and Ball's a bit ahead, but everything else is generally pretty centralized.
But would you say that, you would play a Hog in scrims? I wouldn't say that. Would you play a Hog in scrims?
No, you do not. No, but I mean, like you can, but Diva is also just very not fun to run in scrims, to be honest. You have to deal with Echo, Tracer, Zarya, Zen Discords. It's not fun.
I wish Diva was better. I enjoy playing Diva. Like, the only reason Diva's not fun to play against is because of DM. Like, if you don't like playing against a Diva for anything other than DM, then it's like a personal thing. It's not like an actual, like you can't say that is a subjective balancing opinion, because it's not. Like, DM is the only annoying thing about Diva. Like, you can be annoyed about Roadhog Hook. You can be annoyed about the fact that he may as well have 1,000 health. You can be annoyed that his ultimate can pretty much knock, like, he can control 100 meters from everywhere around him. Like, that's all, a generally fair criticism to have. But as far as Diva goes, like, other than DM, most of her kit is actually, like, pretty bad and underpowered.
Yeah. Compared to
nothing. Yeah. Her head hitbox is
anything else.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I feel like DM... I mean, I was personally never particularly annoyed by DM, and I feel like now it's even better in a better state, right? I feel like the reduced range, the large cooldown, the reduced resource or whatever. I feel like it's a pretty okay ability. I think what is more annoying, to be honest, is Mercy Res. Just the fact that you have Res on a cooldown. I can understand why Res was, a crappy thing to have as an ultimate, but as a cooldown, it's like, oh, okay, you really invest, resources, and you hit a cool shot, or you got a sick play, got a cool sticky, and then somebody just presses a cooldown and nullifies that. I think that is really annoying.
I thought that I had the other day of how you could balance Res stemmed from me playing Pokemon. So, in Pokemon, listen, I'm going somewhere with this. In Pokemon, when you have a Pokemon that faints, there are two ways of bringing him back to life using items. There's obviously characters that can do it with specific abilities, but there's two ways. There's a revive, and there's a max revive. And it got me thinking, what if Mercy Res resurrected a player, but the player was only on half HP? Do you feel like that would maybe be a bit more balanced? Because it would be a lot more risky for a Mercy to throw herself into a scenario to get a res if there's a chance that Mercy gets shit on and then the player she res gets shit on because they have half their health missing.
I don't know. I think, like, sure, res is annoying, but, like, I think it's fine. 30 seconds is like long enough, and like she's stuck.
I don't know. I feel like in a competitive shooter, right? Or call it a MOBA, I don't really care. But in a way where kills matter and blah blah, having an immortality field and a resurrect is just a bit far fetched. I feel
Immo was a different can of worms. Like for res, it's very hit or miss. It's kind of based on personal preference. Like for example, you say in a game like a non-MOBA-esque game, regardless of whether it is or not, res doesn't really belong. Valorant, Sage exists. She can res people.
Yeah, I think that's.
Would you say that's problematic? Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Like that. Yeah,
that's an opinion. Yeah, that's fine. Immortality is a different story. I love Baptiste. Immortality is bullshit. It's just it's unfair beyond all belief. Baptiste needs a rework because half his kit is ass and half of it is OP.
I wouldn't say half
and his MO.
Nah, his jump is good, but like he also has so much damage right now, and like he does still have a lot of healing and burst healing. But Immor is that that's interesting. I'm not gonna complain it's in the game because I'm
not complaining. I'm just stating that it definitely shouldn't be in the game.
I just think that Baptiste is like kind of the what we. So right, Moira. If you think of Moira, she shits healing, right? But like her kit is very but she shits healing close range. She has her 2 orbs and high survivability, whatever. But like very constricted. But with Bap, it's like. He is so good at everything, right? He has great survivability. He shits healing, close range and long range. He has an AOE on top of that. He has an immortality field on top of that and a damage boost, right? And then you're surprised that a character like Lucio, who relies on utility, is bad. Yeah, right. Like that just doesn't fit. I feel like
Bap has the mobility of a Mercy, the damage of a Zen, and the survivability of a Brig all in one character.
Yeah.
The healing of Mora. The thing with Lucio is he's bad because either it's like look at the meta. You have Ball.
Yeah.
You have Sig, Zarya, Diva, and like the amount of burst damage in the game from like Echo, Zen. Tracer to an extent, Hanzo. You have all these heroes that like deal a lot of damage, and Brawl doesn't have the sustain to actually sustain long poke. Like it is very hard to get a Brawl to work. You need to be perfect in everything you do, right? You need good entry, you need good rotations, you need good rotations, you need good target focus, you need the correct target focus, or else you're going to lose. Whereas at spam, you can literally, it's like spam is just map control. Brawl can control map control. Map control is what wins you games. So because Brawl is bad, Lucio's bad, and Brawl can't control map space, and because it can't, I think it's outdated.
True. Yeah. I feel
especially since there's like with. I personally, I feel like there's a lot of mobility being added into the game. Because if you think about all the DLC here, well, I say DLC heroes, you know what I mean. Like, all of the kind of more newer heroes that have been added into the game, think about the absolutely absurd levels of mobility they possess, comparative to the heroes that don't really possess that much mobility. Like, Sigma is pretty much the only hero I can think of that has been added that has, like, little mobility.
Orisa.
Orisa was, like, I was about to say in recent times, like Orisa and Ada are both kind of quite old heroes. I'm thinking along the lines of like the Baptistes, the Echoes, the Wrecking Balls, like the Moiras. They're all very agile. Even going back, as you said, with like Orisa, but you're also comparing that to Sombra, to
but Sombra got lots of changes. Like on initial release, she didn't have permanent invis or permanent translocator. Now she does.
Well, yeah, but even still, with permanent or with temporary invis and temporary translocator, that's still a lot of mobility.
Yeah, but like invis was only a couple of seconds.
It was 15 seconds for both, I believe. But
whatever.
15 seconds of unhittable or 15 seconds of being unseen 1.5 times movement speed, plus essentially a grenade that you can throw 50 meters that allows you to teleport to it. Well, it's not a grenade, but you get what I mean. Like a teleport beacon that you can throw like a professional MLB pitcher.
But I do see where you're coming from. Is that, you know, the recently added heroes have, you know, been stronger than what the present heroes were at release.
I think it's
like
not even...
the entire game has received kind of an up boost of hero. You know, that compared to release Overwatch, what we're playing right now is what would at release Overwatch have been tiny Overwatch.
Yeah, and it's not like I feel like they're even too strong. It's just that like a lot of the mobility stuff built in, there are certain heroes that can't keep up. Like Lucio was considered to be the most mobile hero in the game for years. Lucio gets outpaced by like half of the heroes in the game now.
True.
Like Echo, even characters like Pharah, if you use your concussion blast and your jump jet correctly, can outpace a Lucio. So like I feel like it's not a case of, oh, these new heroes are too fast, they need to be slowed down. I feel it's a case of the pace of the game is very much changing. With goats and stuff, it was very quick. With the newer metas, it seems slower, but when you think about it in an individual micro basis, a lot of the heroes still have a lot of mobility at their disposal. How do you expect heroes like Zenyatta, like Soldier 76, like Zarya to keep pace with characters that can fly and can boop and can stun and can cross the map in 3 seconds? Like, they just can't keep up.
True.
I feel like reworks need to be more based on the kind of state of the game and not the state of the hero.
Yeah, but I think that is something that will definitely be heavily addressed in Overwatch 2 as well. Or at least that's what I'm heavily hoping for. I think I'm not alone there either. But sorry, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to move on, so go ahead.
I was as well. I wanted to come back to you know, the casual scene, what you mentioned, what we were talking about earlier. And I feel that, you know, with all these, you know, we've had a bunch of new heroes and blah 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 blah. But I think that what, you know, was lacking, or what maybe not was lacking, but that might have attracted more of the casual side outside of you know, actual gameplay, perhaps, would have been some, you know, some actual lore, some more, you know, history, Overwatch history to kind of back that up. Because correct me if I'm wrong, but for Echo, I feel like we haven't received anything on her background, or how, you know, her creator, Mina Liao, I think she was called, or something, that other than, you know, the McCree the cinematic and her own hero introduction.
Wasn't there the lore team? I feel like the lore team again is in the similar state to the most of the Overwatch team right now, where they're just like building an intricate narrative for Overwatch 2.
Which is fair, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, because I remember specifically, and unless I've missed something, didn't they say a while ago that like, oh, we're finally going to get some Zen lore? And that was like 9 months ago, and we still haven't got anything.
Like,
oh, well, we got like half of a comic or something, did we not?
Yeah, it was like with the same comment, we got some.
Yeah, fair enough. But still, like, as much as we don't really know a lot about Echo, our characters have been in this game day one, and we don't know a lot about them.
Sure,
like,
yeah.
I mean, there's campaign missions built around Lucio, so we're learning about him in the new campaign, and
yeah, that's cool.
Your point makes sense, where like a lot of these characters, it's for the casual player base, like why should they care about some robot woman? Because we haven't really been explained, other than the fact that she can go whoosh, and that you know, she looks a bit like what the Athena AI looks like, with like the same color scheme, and the logo on her head versus the logo on some of the computers are similar. Other than that, we don't really know a whole lot. But I feel like, I don't know, it depends how they want to do it. They could do it through animated shorts, and they could continue down this route and follow the same path as like League of Legends do and stuff, where they have like 30-minute videos of like 5 shorts back to back to back for different characters. Or they could do the route which I'm feeling they're more leaning towards, which is a full-blown campaign to kind of explain it in a more gameplay sense.
Yeah, that was what I was about, you know, what I was hoping for, is that you would have cutscenes in the co-op missions. That would be amazing. You know, if you can tell lore by having cutscenes, and over, like, I don't know, you play Destiny 2, you tell me how nice that is.
Don't. I have Destiny 1 from 2013 to 2017. Do you know how we got the storyline for Destiny 1? You had to go on Bungie.net and you had to read grimoire cards, which are essentially just paragraphs and paragraphs of lore.
Oh no, but I played Destiny 2, right? So that was
not
I
great
love
either.
that.
Not great either. You want to know how we get most of the Destiny 2 lore? There is one YouTube channel, and this man is the holy saint of the Destiny community. He is the Wikipedia for all things Destiny lore.
But
my name is Bife.
Disregarding Destiny, but I remember when I played the campaign, or like the first missions, that I would have cutscenes of, having story, and I would love that in Overwatch 2, to play the co-op and not only be able to grind abilities and to play missions over and over again and to play against AI, but actually to discover and walk through what Overwatch is, about the hero's history and all of that. That would be really cool. That would get me interested in the game that I play, as a tryhard, whatever you want to call it, to learn about. Because I remember when Overwatch came out, I was super interested in the lore and the background. But yeah,
I mean, you mentioned like Destiny and how their system works. We know Blizzard can do it because Blizzard have done it better than Bungie have.
Yeah.
In WoW, like Blizzard know how to do story. Have you ever watched any like WoW lore videos or cutscene videos? They're great. Blizzard are good at those. They just need to care in Overwatch. Yeah. And like for the past while, it doesn't seem like they really do care. But then again, that could be because they've gone, No Man's Sky mode, dead silent, nothing, while we just head down, work on the game. Who knows?
Which is fair, and especially during COVID, I guess that's pretty, difficult. You can't just say, call up an actor and say, "Yo, can you do some voicing for us here? We'll get a bunch of people together." You just can't do that, right?
And again, that makes sense. And I'm hoping that Blizzard don't just put the product out in the idea of pleasing shareholders, because I really want it to be good. I will wait until 2025 if I have to, as long as it's not trash.
I will definitely buy Overwatch 2.
I think just a bit of transparency would go a long way. Like, it's what I say to a lot of people when I'm like asking a question that I'm maybe not sure that they don't want to answer or not. Like, I don't know is a valid answer. Like, even if Blizzard came out and said, listen, we're working really hard, we're really putting the grind in, we've been doing a lot of like great work and great development, as far as release dates or updates on the game and its situation, we don't know. We're sorry. That is okay. There is nothing wrong with that. But the worst thing I feel like they can do in this situation is silence. Like, I don't know is better tthan nothing. Yeah, and it annoys me that we at least haven't got an I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's just, also insecurity. I get, but I mean, even if they, right, not everybody thinks like you, I guess. No front, but right, if Blizzard came out and said, we don't know, then people are going to be like, oh, small indie company and whatnot, which, I mean, I don't agree on, but, people might think differently. But yeah, there you go.
I mean, if they say something or say something, I think they're just going to get rolled either way. Like, people are like, oh, why aren't you could be working harder, and then like if they say something, it's like, oh, why aren't you telling us? But when they do say something, they're just gonna get
shit anyway. Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, personally, I feel like it would be more positive than like they'd get a lot of negative feedback if they said something that people didn't like, but I think it would please a lot more people than it would upset.
Could be, yeah.
Because like me personally, I'd be fine with that. I don't know about you two, whether you two would prefer silence over them just going, we have no idea, but we're working on it.
No, I prefer that, sure, yeah.
Like, I feel like a lot of the positive feedback would be non-existent, because it would just be people silently going like, all right, I respect it.
Yeah, that could be. I mean, we saw what, with Cyberpunk and whatnot, they postponed their game release, 3 times?
Well, that's because they gave a date. Blizzard haven't given a date yet. Blizzard could come out and say, I don't know, like, because they don't know. It would be a lot worse for them to come out and say, October 22nd, and then come September, they go, oh, December 7th. Like,
yeah.
It's why I don't really feel like, like silence is kind of valid at this point, because silence for like smaller companies makes sense. You want to really focus your time and energy on the game. But like Blizzard have PR people employed. Like, what are they doing? At home sleeping?
Possibly, because COVID.
Maybe the marketing team has COVID. That's why they can't.
That's the theory.
I get it. I get it.
Oh no, but I really want it to be good as well. I hope I watch. Yeah, and to touch down on a very delicate topic as well with COVID. I want to see audiences again. I want to watch pro matches where there are people screaming and cheering in the background. Like, am I the only one that has missed that in the past year to not have, cheering and chanting under Overwatch gameplay?
That's within arm's reach at the moment. Because what Blizzard could do is they could have a small LAN event for Contenders Australia. Because as far as I'm aware, most cities in Australia have been COVID free for a good couple of weeks now.
True.
Like New Zealand has completely cleared themselves. I think they had a couple of cases recently, but they were contained very quickly. And I think Australia is not far behind them on that front. I feel like they had a couple of cities that were completely clear for a little bit. And then they had, a couple of like bursts of cases pop up when they went, right, back to lockdown again. But I feel like Australia has done, the Australia region, so Australia and New Zealand, I feel like they've done a very good job of that. And I feel like they're at a state now where they can actually start doing things like that. And get CSGO, games like CSGO, like Overwatch, like League of Legends, they could look to the Australian scene, which is typically very underappreciated, as a way to kind of bounce for the LAN kind of and the real life side of esports back into action, because it would be something. I feel like people would prefer to watch Australian contenders than watch, webcams again.
Yeah.
I think people would prefer watching higher level play though. I'm not saying Australian contenders has lower level plays, but there's like less of a there's as much of a talent pool. Compared to EU and NA. People will watch EU and NA way more.
Yeah, it's still something though. It's the experience, I believe, because they wouldn't just go, all right, bun off Overwatch League, let's have Australian contenders on the main YouTube channel. Like, I don't think they're going to do that, but it would be something. It would be something for people like Khalyx who really want, I mean, to be fair, do you really want to hear an Australian LAN crowd? Now that I think about it.
Sorry, what, you cut it a little so again.
I said, do you really want to hear an Australian LAN crowd?
I mean,
if you think about it,
usually, right, at this time of, not this time actually. Oh god, it's been a month, 2 months. I would watch Overwatch World Cup, and I watched that every year. I followed that very closely every year, and I really missed that this year. I really enjoyed, having the kind of national teams, and then have a clear bracket format and blah blah. Like not over a state where when you watch Overwatch League, you watch a match and it's like, okay, well they lost and finals is in 4 months. It's like okay, but with World Cup, I thought like that was you saw all the Overwatch, not all the, but a lot of Overwatch League players in their respective national teams, and just throwing everything at each other, and it was a short duration event with everybody there, and I don't know, I liked the atmosphere, and I liked the atmosphere with the nationalities and the people cheering and blah blah. And I missed this. I missed this year.
Yeah. Although, correct me if I'm wrong, but weren't Blizzard pretty much saying that they didn't want to do a 2020 World Cup regardless of COVID? Like, weren't they saying middle of the 2019 one? They were like, yeah, this isn't happening again.
No. They when they announced that World Cup wasn't happening this season, they said that they'd actually wanted to put it on. It was just because of COVID they couldn't.
Oh. I thought there was a thing a while ago where they were saying that they didn't want to do them anymore, like even before COVID.
I think that was all rumors, though.
Oh, okay.
They never came out and said that, I think.
I mean, we can only hope, vaccine seems to be drifted around everywhere in the world. So slowly but surely we're going to get back to normality. We probably, I doubt we'll have one this year either, but I reckon 2022 World Cup seems very within reach.
Yeah, I do hope so.
I think what might happen is that they just, instead of having October, November time of this year, they'll just shove it to next January or February, depending.
Is that going to work with Overwatch League season, though?
BlizzCon. Because I think if they want to have a LAN BlizzCon kind of thing, they're just going to push it forward again, like they did this year, and they're just coincide it with World Cup.
BlizzCon's soon, isn't it? Because they're doing the digital BlizzCon. It's like 3 weeks from now, is it not?
I think it's 15th of February, is it?
Oh, I thought. Hold on, I'll look this up. just like
typing.
BlizzCon 2021 dates. Please keep talking while I'm looking this up because I'm not going to be able to.
Fine. No,
19th and 20th.
19th and 20th. Okay. I remember though that wasn't it? It wasn't last year, because last year it was the first time US being World Cup champions, right? But the
Yeah.
year before that, when it was still goats, everyone was. Wasn't it that the US came out with the Pharah Doomfist and triple DPS or something, and then we're expected to absolutely smoke everybody, and then they went up against the UK, and everyone was like, "Yeah, this is a done deal," and they lost map 1, and then the UK was just like, "Nah, fam," poof, and then the US was out.
Yeah,
I remember I watched that match. And I was just sitting in my living room screaming. It was amazing. It was entertaining as hell.
Yeah. I mean, having my foot in both worlds, I kind of wanted the UK to win because I was like, well, I know Ireland aren't going to get very far.
Yeah.
So at the very least, I want the UK lads to do well.
Good
Next
God,
year.
yeah.
I was about to say, I was gonna say, not you gonna be on that team next year, yeah?
I'll push for it.
Whoa, that'd be amazing.
You've got some talent to contend with, like.
I'd be cheering for Ireland. Trust me on that. If you were on that roster, defo.
Get the marketing now.
Not for Flex Support 2022.
Or 2021, you don't know.
Yeah. Did you play in the showdown thing?
No, I wasn't at home, so.
Oh, okay.
Speaking of which, Valentine, shout out to my homie Nut in chat. Lul.
Oh, okay. I was like, what does that have to do with Valentine's Day? Oh, okay, you were talking about the person.
No, I was talking about Twitch chat.
yeah, no, I see that now. I was just like, okay. Just like you offering to spend the day with him, or like?
Oh my God, that's right. I'd forgotten that Valentine's Day is coming up. Jesus. I'm about to break a consecutive, a personal best consecutive Valentine's Days as a single hog.
You never know.
I've done that for 18 years. 19
for me.
21. I win.
You win.
we're just all hard nerds. Anyway.
I mean, listen, we're just hard nerds is not an excuse to be alone on Valentine's Day. There are plenty of absolute nerdy warlords that have their e-girl pockets with them on Valentine's Day.
That's right. That's what we should just do.
Queued and ranked. It's gonna be awful.
Every one of us is just going to go into comp on Valentine's Day, be in voice, and look for some lonely mercy main. That's what we're gonna do.
We should just two-stack and just literally sweat as hard as humanly possible to beat every Mercy duo queue.
Yeah.
Just ruin as many Valentine's Days as humanly possible by making the boyfriend tell.
Oof.
Just relentlessly teabag him.
Oh God. You'd see there's a Smurf and then some girly name with plat border or something on support. Then you know.
Like Angelic or something like that.
Yeah.
God, what a really girly name.
Oof. Big oof. Oh boy. Okay. Well.
Do we think we want to end on that note? Do we have anything else that we want to cover?
No.
Sure, we'll end on that note. Thinking about e-girls and Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Wow. Good one.
We're gonna after the podcast, we're gonna sit as a group of 3 and we're gonna plan this stack for Valentine's Day.
Our producer is saying.
I think what would be interesting is just record how many duos you run across.
Like a tally.
Yeah. Our producer is saying someone's getting fired after this.
Yeah. Listen. I'll work my way out of this situation. I'll find a way.
You better, because I'm not hosting the show alone.
No, I won't leave you to do that.
Good.
But speaking of which, I guess that's us for today. Unless anyone else wants to say any final words.
Except that I had fun talking to you guys and reminiscing about everything that was and is in my favorite game.
And will be. Well, yes, not reminiscing, but talking about what will be. Yeah. Okay. Well, in that case then, thank you everybody for listening. Thank you not for being here, and Khalyx as well, even though if we do this again, you'll probably be here again.
Yeah, I hope so.
I hope so too.
It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure, boys.
All right. Well, on that note, then, thank you everybody for watching or listening, or however you want to consume this, and we'll maybe see you next week, depending on how things go.
Yep.